Here's the problem with 99% of agency owners, guys. I've coached over 85 agencies that have hit 100K a month. There's no such thing as being fully automated. This is the team that they had. Right now, you guys see your agency as a service, but it really needs to be a product. This one's done by your closer. This one's done by you don't have to do anything. It's easier to sell 1,000 of the same thing than one thing 1,000 times. Over 200 clients doing about 300K a month. This might be the most valuable lesson that I teach you guys in this entire workshop. Today, we're going to be going over systems, how to automate your agency. This is definitely going to be the most advanced day, but still going to be really, really valuable. And at the end of the day, when I had my agency with over 200 clients, we were doing about 300K a month. At our peak, we were doing over 100K a month in profit. And I was only responsible for like high level innovations. I was only responsible for like meeting with my favorite clients. I was really only responsible for really high level things like marketing strategy. I was not setting up the ads. I was not tweaking the campaigns. I was not building out high level. I was not even talking to the clients. I was not doing any of the sales. I was doing none of that. It was fully automated, either through systems or people. And that's ultimately what you guys are after. You guys are after freedom, not just making money. You want freedom and you want to make money. So at the end of the day, if you are stuck in the day-to-day of your business, you have a high-paying job. Let me say that again. If you're stuck in the day-to-day of your business, you have a high-paying job, you don't have a business. A business is a system of humans. As Robert Kiyosaki likes to talk about it, when you transition from self-employed to business owner, self-employed is where you're an entrepreneur, you're an employee of your own business. Then you transition to business owner. Then you own the system with the people that works without you. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be involved. Like there's no such thing as being fully automated. That's bullshit. Like even like you look at the people that you guys look up to, the Hermosis, and then the really big names like Elon Musk, like the huge entrepreneurs, they're still going out, speaking, doing events, like getting themselves out there. They're on, like they're still active, just not involved in the day-to-day things. I think that's impossible to do. You have to be involved still from a high level. And today I'm going to teach you guys how to get out of the day-to-day. So with that in mind, let's dive in. It is going to be a faster day because I'm going to be hooking you guys up with some trainings that really explain this. So it's going to be a little bit of a faster day, and then we'll do Q&A. All right, pillar number 4, firing yourself. Just to recap really quickly, we went over how to set appointments. We went over how to close appointments. We went over how to get client results by generating them leads. We also went over how to get client results by helping them turn leads into appointments and then into sales so that they actually get an ROI. Finally, we have to figure out how to automate it so that we can actually scale to 100K a month. Because if you can figure out pillars 1 through 3, how to set appointments, close appointments, and get client results, then you will become the biggest bottleneck. If you can figure all these 3 pillars out, then for the next phase, you're the biggest bottleneck by far, and you need to remove yourself. So how do we do that? Well, first things first, we have to build your 7-figure agency team. Now, I've coached over 85 agencies. I think it's at like 86 or 87 now that have hit 100K a month. And this is the team that they had for the most part. Obviously, there's some examples where this is not true. There's some examples where it's a little bit different. For the most part, 9 times out of 10, this is the team. You have a VA that's in charge of fulfillment. You have a VA and it's really more like 1 to 2 VAs. VAs in charge of fulfillment. You have 1 to 2 VAs in charge of prospecting. You have 1 to 2 VAs in charge of admin work. You have someone that does closing, sales. You have someone that does account management. You have a media buyer. And then if you don't have a business partner, you'll probably need a COO or an ops manager, someone to handle all the projects, operations, etc. You could probably get away without it if you want, but for you to be able to not have to show up, you're going to need a COO or ops manager. So to get to 100K a month, this is the team right here. If you want to scale after that, pretty simple to scale an agency team, at least to like 300K a month. After that, all you're going to do is double up on closers, double up on account managers, double up on media buyers, and then maybe get some VAs as you see fit. This is the team that you need to build. If you want to fire yourself, everyone wants like automations and systems, and I'll show you guys how to do that. And I'm going to even hook you guys up with my entire SOP masterclass, and I'm going to hook you guys up with my entire onboarding masterclass, which shows you how to automate the onboarding process step by step and actually shows you how to do it. Be way too much for me to do it all over again today. It's already pre-recorded, so it would literally be dumb for me to just do it again. I'd rather and it's technical. It's like, I'd rather you guys just see the video. It's already perfect, good to go. It's helped hundreds of agencies automate their onboarding and automate their systems. But aside from the systems, here's what you need to build a 7-figure agency team. Now everyone's like, Joel, where do I start? I always say, always start with VAs. Always. This should be my first hires ever. First hires ever were VAs. I think if you have any budget to hire, I would hire one for each. A VA that's going to be in charge of helping me set up all the client accounts, HighLevel, Facebook ads, TikTok ads for the client. That's fulfillment. A VA that's in charge of prospecting. Do you want to know how you guarantee that you send 50 DMs a day? You don't send 50 DMs a day. You get someone else to do it. That's how you guarantee that it gets done. As the CEO, you're always going to be too busy. Things are always going to come up, and you're always going to drop the ball with being consistent with the little things like sending 50 DMs a day. What do you do to fix that problem? Well, you hire a VA to do it. Then I would also hire a VA for admin work. Like, admin becomes a fucking nightmare, especially in the agency game. So for example, client emails you and they're like, I need this thing, or you need to get creative from your client. And it's like, now you have to put it on your to-do list. You have to email the client. Whereas if you just have your VAs do it, it makes your life so much easier. Now, if you guys also, this is something to state, if you guys also are doing setting for your client, you'll also need to hire 1 to 2 VAs for appointment setting. Let's call it client appointment setting, if you guys are going to take that on for your clients. Obviously, you start with one, but even then, let's say you're paying $500 a month per VA. To have a whole VA team, it's only $2K a month, which is really like 1 to 2 clients. So I'm not saying that you're going to hire everyone all at once. I started with one VA, and I started with one VA for prospecting. So first I hired a VA for prospecting. Then I hired a VA for fulfillment. Then I hired a VA for admin. After that, now keep in mind, I had a business partner, but after that, my business partner and VAs, we got to about 30K a month. Just me. But keep in mind, my business partner was talented. So like, it's not like we had 2 A players. So we had four VAs, or like 3 VAs, me, my business partner, and we got to like 30K a month. Then after that, we hired an account manager and a closer. Okay. We hired an account manager and a closer. That took us to about 65K a month. We hired an account manager and a closer after that. So first VAs, then sales manager and account manager. And keep in mind, if you don't have a business partner, you're doing 30K a month, you're going to need to, if you don't have a business partner that you're splitting 50% equity with, you have room to hire more aggressively. Now, let's see, what was I going to say? After that, 65K a month, at that point, I realized, holy fuck, I'm doing so much. I was the media buyer. I was the one tweaking the campaigns. I was the one like building everything out. It became a shit show, and we became stuck, especially me. I was stuck in the day-to-day. That's when I came up with systems. That's when I came up with the SOPs. And then I hired a media buyer. I hired a media buyer to handle all the accounts. After that, we scaled to 250K a month. I added a second account manager and a second salesperson and a second media buyer and some VAs, and that's it, to 250K a month. Like, it really was that simple. So this alone got us to about 65K a month with me being the media buyer. And yes, I had a business partner. Once we hired the media buyer and got one more salesperson, one more account manager, we really scaled all the way up to like 250K a month, 300K a month. So if you want to automate your agency, you're going to need to set up what I call the assembly line. The assembly line. This is the process A to Z of your agency. Now, this assumes that you're in one niche, one service, one offer. Otherwise, it won't work. Again, this assumes that you're in one niche, one service, one offer. Otherwise, it won't work. If you have like 4 niches, or if you have one niche with 4 services, or if every time you have, let's say you have one niche, one service, like TikTok ads for Kairos, but every time you sell something, it's different. It's not, this is not going to work. You need to have one niche, one service, one offer for you to be able to create an assembly line. Do you guys know what an assembly line is? Assembly line is like a big factory. So a big factory, the way that it works is, first, let's say that we're actually producing, see this shoe? First, when this is getting made, maybe they make the laces, separate machine. Then they make this right here, the black part. Then they add in these stitches. Then they manufacture this bottom part separately. Then they manufacture this part separately. Then they glue it all together. Then they send it to a quality control to make sure that it looks fine. Then after that, it gets boxed up. Then after that, it gets shipped out. It's like step by step by step by step by step. And then boom, it's ready to go. You guys need to think about your agency the same way. Right now, you guys see your agency as a service, but it really needs to be a product. It's the same every single time. If you can sell your service as a product and it's the same every single time, it's going to be a lot easier to automate. It's easier to sell 1,000 of the same thing than a unique thing 1,000 times. It's easier to sell 1,000 of the same thing than one thing 1,000 times. This is also why people perceive services to be more valuable, right? Because it's it feels customized. It feels unique. It feels like they're buying something that's unique for them. But at the end of the day, you guys have to create a productized service, turning your service into a product. And then after that, we're going to build the assembly line. Now, again, guys, I know this is pretty advanced. I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. So this is the assembly line. First, you have your sales call. So you have your sales call, you close the client. Then you have so that'd be like, imagine you're in a factory. That's part one. That's the laces. Part two is the soul. That'd be the onboarding call. So you close the client, boom, you set up an onboarding call. Then your VA does the tech onboarding, which again, I'm going to give you guys a video showing you guys everything. Then the next VA does campaign creation. The VA builds out all of the campaigns. Then you have someone else, or maybe the same VA is in charge of reviewing everything step by step. Then after that, you have someone in charge of launching the campaign. Then after that, you have someone in charge of optimizing the campaign and tweaking it, making sure it's improving over time. And then you have someone in charge of checking in with the clients. That's the assembly line of agency A to Z. If I had to really boil it down, think about it like a huge machine that you're putting a shoe through. It's like first it builds the sole, then it builds the lace, then it builds this, then it builds that. First the sales call, boom. Then you close the client, you have your onboarding call, boom. Then you do your VA does the tech onboarding, boom. And it should be more like this. This is actually a mistake. So let me just clarify it. It should be first you close the client, then your VA does all the tech setup, adding the client to Slack, adding the client to whatever you guys have set up. Then someone creates the campaign. Then someone reviews the campaign. Then you have the launch call, which I gave you guys the slides for last week. Do you guys remember? I gave you guys the slides for this last week. Then you launch the campaign, then you optimize the campaign, and then you have checking calls. And by the way, this one's done by your closer. This one's done by your VA. This one's done by your VA. This one's done by your media buyer. This one's done by your account manager. This one's done by your media buyer. This one's done by your media buyer. This one's done by your account manager. And now you don't have to do anything. See what I'm saying? All the pieces of the puzzle are executed on by team members. So I just taught you guys the high level version of the assembly line. I'm going to hook you guys up with a few videos that literally shows you how to do it. This is the video I'm going to share. So don't worry, I'm going to share this video, but I'm showing you like literally I'm going to share with you how to actually build that assembly line, how to set it up, how to actually build everything out. So right now, I wanted to cover the high level theory. Don't worry, I'm going to give you guys this video. So you don't feel like you have to take a screenshot or anything. I'm going to literally hook you guys up with this entire video that walks you through how to build out your systems, how to set everything up step by step by step by step by step. Okay. So I'm going to hook this up. I figured it'd be easier. Today, we're going to go over high level strategy, and then you guys can go watch the specifics. I'm going to give you guys 3 master classes. I changed my mind. I was only going to give you guys 2. I'm going to give you guys 3. The first one is the SOP masterclass. It shows you how to actually build out the assembly line. Second one shows you how to specifically build out the assembly line for onboarding clients. The third one actually walks you through my entire agency process, the entire agency process, A to Z. Like literally step by step by step by step by step by step by step. So you guys can see the full assembly line in action. Today is still high level, but like that would be like a 5-hour workshop in and of itself, the systems one. So I'm going to just hook you guys up. All right. So you set up the assembly line. Part 3. Then you have to build out your agency SOPs. SOP stands for standard operating procedure. So essentially what this means is, let's say that you build out a Facebook ad. Every single time it looks the same for the most part. So you have a process in place already. And it's like, this is the standard for how the process works. That's called an SOP. And what happens is every part of your agency has an SOP. Sending out cold emails, that has an SOP. It has a standard process. For the most part, it looks the same. Finding accounts to DM on Instagram, that's a process. Onboarding a client, that's a process. You guys essentially want to build out SOPs for your entire agency. You guys want to build out SOPs for everything in your agency. Now, let me show you guys what this looks like. Let me pull this up. Now, if you guys want to get started building SOPs, again, I'm going to give you guys the entire SOP masterclass. And I know I've said it like 7 times now, but the way that I started building out systems for my agency is this. I would actually record an entire process. So like this is back when I was working with dentists and chiropractors. And this is an entire campaign setup. And what I would actually do is I would actually show them. I would actually record myself building out an entire campaign start to finish. I would record the entire process. Then what I would do is I would chop up the videos where I would actually just stop recording after a big section was done. Then I would start recording again. Then I would stop recording after a big section. Then I would start recording again. And then I would put it into a Google Drive folder, and give this to my team members to watch. Now they learn how to actually build everything out. And if I ever need to replace one of the sections, I can. So if I change my mind and now we're using HighLevel instead of ClickFunnels, I just refilm that section for HighLevel. And all this does is it really shows you how to start a campaign, how to set up the client, how to build CallRail, how to add random assets to the client folder, how to build the funnel, how to do the email follow-up, how to do the text follow-up. So like what I did is, if you guys are trying to build out an SOP, and again, 8th time I say this, the SOP masterclass will go deeper, but if you guys are just trying to get started, what I need you guys to do to start building out your systems is recording everything. Just start recording yourself doing everything, and then just break it down into chunks if it's too big. Like if it's a 10-minute video on how to find people on Instagram to DM, fine, that's one piece. But if you're doing an entire Instagram DM masterclass for your team, step by step, maybe divide it into 5 sections: finding people on IG, sending the DM, follow-up, tracking. Record the entire thing, break it up into videos, put it into a Google Drive folder, boom. Now you've got a system for Instagram DMs that you could then send to your VA, tell them to watch the video and execute on it. That's how you build systems, guys. So you guys need to build SOPs for everything in your agency: your onboarding, creating the campaigns, reviewing campaigns, launching the campaigns, tweaking the campaigns for your clients, cold email SOP, IGDM SOP, like really everything, literally like everything that happens in your agency needs to have an SOP. And if you guys don't want to build something advanced, you could start with something as simple as this. Cool. I don't know why that's there. And then last but not least, the final part to automating your agency. Final part to automating your agency is building out your tech stack. We manage all of our clients in Monday.com. That's what we use for managing all of our clients from like a high level. It's our client dashboard. For client communications, we use Discord for now with Agency Lab, but in the past I used Freshdesk, which was an email management, because my clients liked emails. So I know a lot of people like Slack. You have to figure out which client communication platform you want, but you need to have that set up. You guys need to have a project management platform. I like Asana. I do like ClickUp too. I like Asana and ClickUp. I think Asana, a lot of the videos where I teach are based on Asana, so definitely go check that out. And then automations, we use Zapier, we use Make. I don't know why Go HighLevel is in there. You guys could also use Go HighLevel for client communication, but that's up to you. For finances, we use QuickBooks. For CRM, you guys can use Go HighLevel or Close. For follow-up, we use Go HighLevel. For internal communications, we use Slack. And then we use Google Calendar and Zoom. So that's our tech stack. That's pretty much it. So let me recap, and then we'll open it up for Q&A, and then I'll show you guys the videos that I'm going to share with you. So first things first, if you want to automate your agency and fire yourself, you have to build your 7-figure agency team. This is what they look like. Start with VAs, then add sales manager and account manager and media buyer. If you have a business partner, you can take your time with these 3. If you don't have a business partner, you have to hire more aggressively and more quickly. Then you need to build your assembly line. So essentially, if you have one niche, one service, one offer, it's going to work. Otherwise, it won't. I'm going to give you guys a video for homework. It's called Proven Agency Process A to Z. It's going to break this down in a lot more detail. So I'm going to hook you guys up with that. Breaks down my entire assembly line from a way more detail. But from a very high level, this is the assembly line. First, the client starts with a sales call. Well, you close the client. Then after the client closes, you onboard the client with like all the tech stuff. Then you create their campaign. Then you review their campaign. What happened on the onboarding call? Oh, yeah. Then you have the launch call. Then after you meet with the client for the launch call, you launch their campaign, then you optimize their campaign, and then you do check-in calls. And by the way, guys, I already gave you all the launch call presentation and the check-in call scripts on the last training. So you already have those. Then step 3, you guys need to build out all of your agency SOPs. Literally, you need to build an SOP just like this for everything in your agency. You need to record a how-to video, essentially, then break it up into sections if it's too long. That way, if you change your mind on how to find Instagram accounts to DM, for example, you can just refilm that portion of the video. You need to build SOPs for literally everything, and then you're going to give those SOP videos to your VAs or to your team members to execute on. Let's see. And then last but not least, once you have your team, once you've set up your assembly line, then you need to just build out your tech stack, like just start using these softwares. For your agency SOPs, I'm going to give you guys the SOP masterclass for homework. And I'm going to give you guys the onboarding and Asana SOP, which breaks down how to build your onboarding SOP step by step. And those two will really show you how you could do this for literally anything in your agency. So that's really how you fire yourself.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm speaking to you, by the way. First of all, I really appreciate the work you're doing. It's like God's work on it. And second, mainly what I've been facing is like there's a lot of resistance. Like it seems like business owners tend to hate people that are doing SMMA, and they can see right through us for some reason. And mainly what I've been struggling with is like sales calls, honestly. And I can get appointments, but mostly these guys are only interested in like paying out a referral fee. I'm in the solar niche personally. So whenever I reach out to these guys saying that I have homeowners that I want to refer to them, they're like, yeah, the only kind of partnership that we're interested in is if you refer a homeowner and let's say they get an install done, and then we pay you $1,000 after the install is done.
I got you. Okay, so I think first things first, I'm going to answer your question, but then if anyone has specific questions about the systems, let's tackle those first, and then we'll open it up to general Q&A. So I'm going to answer this one. Then if anyone has system specific questions, we'll address those, and then we'll open it up again. Okay, so here's the problem with 99% of agency owners, guys, and why you're getting so much resistance. I just wanted some notes because this is something I was actually going to talk about later, so I already have it fresh in my mind. Here's what happens. Let's say that you guys all go into a niche, solar. The more that people go into the niche, the more SMMAs are created. Two things happen, okay? Two things happen. Number one, the niche saturates. Number two, the niche gets more sophisticated. They get more educated. They become more aware. They learn more. So for example, everyone starts to go into solar or chiro or dentist or whatever. Two things happen. Number one, the niche will get more competitive, right? There's more people. There's more options. They become more solution aware. They go from, there's different stages. So like, for example, before there was many solutions, they were just problem aware. They were like, oh, I have a problem. I need more appointments. I need more whatever. What are my solutions? Now, when more and more people come, become saturated, become more solution aware. So then what happens is they're like, there's this guy and 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 this guy. Why would I go with you? That's the first thing that happens. The second thing that happens is they actually, because they're getting pitched all the time, because there's so many options, they learn a lot more. They're like, they become more educated. They become more sophisticated. So this is, you can especially see this in the online marketing niche, not in the solar niche. You could see this even more. The online marketing niche saturates and sophisticates so fast that you always have to be coming up with some crazy shit to innovate. Like, I know Armin is doing some crazy shit. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but I know he's doing some crazy shit with ChatGPT to innovate, because he's like, if I just send out the regular script or whatever, it's not going to work. So like, what happens is when everyone starts competing, the water gets really bloody. So it becomes saturated. But then the second thing that happens, like I said, is that everyone becomes more educated. They're like, wow, I've already tried Facebook ads. I've already tried TikTok ads. So the more that happens, the more it's important for you to find ways to innovate. That's ultimately what entrepreneurship is all about. I was just listening to a video from Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel was the guy who founded PayPal. He's also the guy who owns Palantir, who sells to the government. He's like, I think he was one of the first 5 investors in Facebook. Like the guy has, pretty sure he's a billionaire. Yeah, Peter Thiel net worth. Yeah, $4 billion net worth. So I was listening to one of his videos and he says, you never want to be the second restaurant. You never want to be the second, I mean, he said it even more aggressively. You don't want to be the 38th Indian restaurant in X city. You don't want to be the 10th sushi restaurant in Miami. You don't want to be you get the point. You don't want to just be the next guy or the next girl that does the same fucking shit that everyone is doing. And in competitive niches, this matters even more because it saturates very, very quickly. So really what I'm trying to say is, how can you become the first agency that does X or Y in solar? That's what you have to figure out. How can you become the first solar agency that does this thing in your niche? That's the game you have to play. That's how I won with Atlas Digital. That's how I win today with my coaching program. Your only other option to win is to build a brand, and that takes years.
Yeah.
You're not going to get 10K a month in 30 days by building a brand. Like it takes years. It takes time. Brand is built through having a really good product, having a lot of referrals, a lot of word of mouth, a lot of results, and putting yourself out there through organic content day in and day out without seeing results for a long time. So that's one way to not have to play the be first. Like, for example, everyone knows like Nobu, the restaurant. They're just the sushi restaurant. Or not everyone, but a lot of people, it's a very famous sushi restaurant. You don't have to be, they're not competing against every other sushi restaurant. They're in their own category because they have such a strong brand. But if that's not the case, what happens is you need to figure out how to be first in solar. So for example, when I was running Atlas Digital, I was the first agency to guarantee leads for chiropractors. I was the first person to have a guarantee for chiropractors. I'm not telling you to have, I'm not saying you have to go build some fucking crazy software that's going to revolutionize solar forever. I'm not saying that you have to do that. You just have to be the first to do something in your niche. You have to be the first to do TikTok ads for solar. You know how long I was yelling at my students to do TikTok ads and no one was doing it. No one was doing it. No one was doing it. I literally went out of pocket and spent $10,000 of my own money to test out TikTok ads for my students so that they could be the first to say, hey, we offer TikTok ads for their niche, because I knew how important that was. And that's how I created a bunch of 7-figure agency owners very quickly within a short amount of time. It happens in these bursts. of me innovating on behalf of the student. So I know this is a really big rant, but I think it's one of the most important lessons that I could teach literally everyone. At the end of the day, business, and especially entrepreneurship, like it comes down to innovating, not copying and pasting. Like you don't want to be the 17th fucking solar agency that does the same shit. You've already lost. You want to be the first. SMMA is not dead. It's just SMMA, how a lot of people do it is dead. You're going to get faced with objection after objection after objection. I've already seen this. I've already tried this. And the only way for you to win and beat those objections, if you are in fact offering the same shit, is to have a stronger brand. Yeah, well, I know you've tried Facebook ads already. I know you've been burned already, but check out all of our client results. Check out our track record. We've been doing this for 7 years. If you have a strong brand, then fine, you could be the 17th agency to do it. But if you don't have a strong brand, you have to come up with something new. And here's what happens. This is I've seen this now so many times. I've coached so many agency owners. I just see it happen over and over and over and over again. You guys know Tony Lee because I've done a bunch of content with him. He's talented and he works hard. You need to have those. You need to have talent. You need to work hard. If you don't have either of those, even if you innovate, it's going to be hard. You need to have talent. You need to work hard. He had those in place, but you know what he did? He went into a niche that was untapped. So his innovation, he was like, I'm going to be the first person or one of the first few to go into this niche because no one else is doing it. So the idea is, but then what happens is you grab a big market share and then all people start catching up. They start catching up and then they copy and paste their way in and then it stops working as much. So you guys need to constantly be asking yourself, how can we be the first person to do this in my niche? It could be about how you get clients. It could be how you get them client results. So for example, you could say, you know what? Everyone is selling TikTok ads. I'm going to do VA placement for solar companies. No one's doing that. I haven't seen that ad before. I've seen literally, if I go on Facebook, I will probably see 3 agency ads today for solar. 3, at least. I have not seen one for VAs for solar. That's an example. Let me see. Instead of everyone runs Facebook ads, does IGDMs to get solar companies as clients. What if, let me think of a different strategy. Who do solar companies need?
Homeowners.
No. Hold on. They need realtors talk to homeowners all day long. Realtors. What if you went after realtors and said, hey, I'll do your marketing for free, right? I'll do your marketing for free. You're just gonna need to refer all of your leads to the solar companies, all of your leads that I give you that you get on the phone. Like that then becomes a very interesting offer to the solar company, because now your offer is not, we do ads, it's, hey, I get you referrals from realtors. That's a little bit complex. I'm not saying to do that one. I'm just showing you how I would be thinking about this. That one is definitely a little bit complicated. That I probably don't recommend, but that's how I'd be thinking all day long. Do you guys want to know, Hermosi was not the first person to get Jim's results, but he was the first person to figure out how to run Facebook ads to get gym owners as clients. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What if you become the first person to learn how to do TikTok organic content to get solar companies as clients? I don't see many agencies posting organic content to get solar companies as clients. But the problem is everyone's doing the same fucking shit. They see Tony doing IGDMs. I'm going to do IGDMs. I see Joel doing Facebook ads. I'm going to do Facebook ads. You guys have to become the first of your niche in how you get clients, how you get them results, your offers, literally anything. For Atlas Digital, I was the first to guarantee results. I was the first one to figure out how to do prepay and show up. I was the first one to roll that out. I figured out how to get the patients to pay before they show up. I was the first one to figure out how to get spinal decompression patients and market it. No one was running ads saying, hey, we'll help you get spinal decompression patients. I figured out how to get spinal decompression patients, and I ran that offer. Everyone else was saying, hey, we'll just get you regular patients. I said, I'll get you spinal decompression patients. It could be that subtle. It doesn't have to be that crazy. It could just be something very little of like, hey, I'm the first one to figure out how to run spinal decompression patient ads. I've been saying this a lot. A lot of people think about you guys can also look, and I know this has been a huge rant, but this is one of the most important lessons. And literally, this might be the most valuable lesson that I teach you guys in this entire workshop, because if you just go and take everything I showed you and copy and paste, then here's a huge lesson that you guys missed. What was the first thing that I taught you? The first thing, copy and paste entrepreneurs. That was the very first thing that I taught you guys. Don't be a copy and paste entrepreneur. So it's perfect that it's looping back around. It was the first, that was the first lesson I taught you guys when we started this journey together. If you guys are going to copy or paste, if you guys are planning to copy and paste your way to success, you're not going to achieve it. It's going to be really, really hard. The key is to take the frameworks and innovate on them. So for example, no one is doing organic TikTok content teaching solar companies how to get clients, how to get leads. Be the first one to do that. IG shoutouts have blown up for coaches, consultants. Why don't you pay a huge solar influencer to shout you out on Instagram? That's an innovation. Right now, you guys, you can pay to get on podcasts. Did you know that? Like, you can pay to get on Grant Cardone's podcast. I think it's like 30 grand or 50 grand, something like that. You can pay to get on Brad Lee's podcast. You can pay to get on Jordan Belford's podcast. You can pay to get on these podcasts. Why don't you pay to get on the solar podcast? That's different. You see what I'm saying? That's how you're going to deal with them not hating you. As soon as you say, oh yeah, this is what makes us different, actually, whether it's in how they found you, whether it's how your offer is, whether it's how you get them results, it's going to make a huge difference. I promise you.
Well, that's something I'll need to think very long and hard about.
Yeah, but look, they're both hard. You dealing with objection after objection after objection and trying to make it through the noise when you are part of the noise is hard. You thinking long and hard about how to innovate is also hard. And I already gave you like 7 ideas. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did try getting on a podcast. The guy literally, he didn't hold his word. Like, he just wasted 30 minutes of my time. He was like, okay, just do some free work for me. I was like, okay, sure thing. I'll do some free work for you.
Right,
as long
well,
as I can.
dude, I've had, that's one example that happened one time. I'm not going to name names. There's a partnership that I invested $60,000 into. It didn't work. I lost every single dollar. Like, sometimes you're going to take an L. And I was extremely confident it was going to work. It wasn't crypto. It wasn't anything like that. It was a partnership for an info product. It didn't work. Like, you keep moving, like, one person is not going to determine whether or not I succeed. One of the things that I've always told myself is I'm never going to rely on another person to determine my own success. So, like, cool, you don't want to do a collaboration with me? No worries. Move on. Next. I think, like, if you guys can figure this part out, how to innovate, it's just as hard as how to be the 17th fucking solar agency. They're both hard.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you're just choosing the wrong hard.
Yeah, honestly, God, I've been trying this for 3 months. Like, I've been on maybe 60 sales calls so far with solar reps. They all have the same kind of objections. Like, it's like huge trust issues. They're like, well, why should we pay you up front? We've been burnt 1-2 times.
I get it.
That's how it is.
Well, we're not better than anyone else. We're new. We're a whole completely different category. Imagine if you could say that.
Yeah, that'd be best, to be honest. But sometimes it feels like everything that.
And also, if you've been, but on the flip side, if you've been on 60 sales calls, this is just so. I think everything I said is still true, but if you also have been on 60 sales calls and you haven't closed one client, I would highly, highly, highly recommend practicing sales a lot more and really really trying to, what I would actually do is find someone that's amazing at sales and have them do a sales call review for you to review your sales call. That seems to be another issue, because if you've done 60 calls, you can't close one client. I think something might be off in your sales process.
Yeah, there is. I'm working on it. It's basically tonality and authority. Just let these guys push me around way too much.
I would still do sales call review with someone that if you can get someone that's crushing it with sales to just review your sales call, that'd be great.
Yeah, I have many. They do help me out, and I'm working on it.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay, it also takes time. Like I started my agency when I was 24. By the time I was 24, I had been doing sales and marketing for 6 years since I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I hit 10K a month within like the first month, but I also had 6 years of experience. My job was selling to superintendents and principals of schools. Then I started selling to chiropractors. I'm like, this is easy.
Oh, I guess you had been playing the game of sales on veteran difficulty this entire time.
And it's like, it takes time, guys. Everyone's like, the problem, the dark side of SMMA is that it takes longer. This is one of the things that I shared at the very beginning too. Like, it takes longer than you might realize. Like, I ran my first Google ad when I was 18. Like, I had literally logged into the AdWords platform when I was 18. So it's like, by the time I started talking to chiros at 24, 6 years later, like, it wasn't new to me. You guys are having to learn so many things, so many aspects, mindset, skills, identity. Like, there's just so much that needs to click. That's why I say 0 to 1 is the hardest, you know? So, man, that was a long answer, but hopefully it was valuable. I still think that being different always beats being better, unless you have a brand. I'll say that again. Yeah. Being different or being new always beats being better, unless you have a brand. That's the only exception.
Yeah, totally agree. No doubt about that. Thanks, by the way. I really appreciate your well thought out answer.
Yeah, try it out. Be like, hey, try this out. Instead of offering solar reps ads, offer them, hey, we'll place you a VA that is trained to run all of your ads. They're trained to manage your CRM, follow up with your leads, and take admin tasks off your plate. Just try it out. See if you could even, I mean, like, I'm just curious what would happen. I think you're going to get way less resistance, but then, you know what I'm saying?
I see.
I'll say one more thing. Everyone should be rolling out some sort of new innovation at least once every 90 days that they're testing out. And it doesn't have to be your service. It could be like, okay, well, maybe our service now is VAs. That's innovative. Now let's change up how we, like, for example, do you know any marketing agencies that are going to D2D con, door-to-door con for solar?
I don't think so.
There's going to be a few, but it's way less than all the agencies doing IGDMs. So, like, why don't you go to the door-to-door con where you could literally meet all the solar reps, shake their hand, get to know them? Like, that's just an example. I'm not saying you have to do that. That's how I'd be thinking about it. I didn't know of any other agency going to events and setting up booths for chiropractors. We went to the biggest chiropractor conference in the world, Parker Seminars, and we set up a giant booth. We closed 27 clients in a weekend. What happened the next year? This next year we went in, we did the same thing. We closed way less clients, like 4 or 5. Why? Because it wasn't new anymore. You see what I'm saying?
I see.
I
don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this out. I have a lot of thinking to do.
Yeah, just ask yourself, how can I be different? Stop asking, how can I be better? How can I be the first agency to do this in solar? It doesn't have to be wild. It could just be as simple as like, we offer placed VAs.
Placed VAs. I mean, that is something very scalable, but I guess I have to research it more to be able to make the
scalable. It's as scalable as anything else. All right, let's go to Andrew, Jonas, and then I'm gonna have to go actually because we went way too long on that question. But
hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Thanks, Joel. So a few questions about the SOPs and the processes, and then one follow-up to what you were just talking about. My question was just like when to build the SOPs in terms of like how to hire, or should you ever hire someone to build the SOPs for you? And do you have to be an expert in that, whatever you're building the SOPs for, before you start building it? And if you have like a VA,
great question. Let me just go one by one. Wait, so what was the last one? If you have a VA?
The last one would just be, if I have like a VA, for example, doing outreach and is doing well on outreach, how can I get them to build an SOP for other VAs, or would that be, or should I even do something like that?
You should absolutely do something like that. You're literally thinking like a CEO. That's awesome. That's how you need to be thinking about it. You're asking yourself, how can I get other people to build the SOPs? I think it's going to be a little bit of both. Like some of the things you're going to have to build because they're in your head.
Yeah.
Some of the things, if your VA is crushing it with IGDMs, for example, what I would do is say to her or him, I would actually give them the SOP masterclass that I'm going to share with you guys and be like, hey, I need you to build this out and record a video breaking down your process. That way we could give it to any other VA that comes in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So as far as like what to build out, I would build out SOPs for any repetitive tasks that you know will happen the same way every single time. Do you have any of those type of tasks?
Yeah, I guess it would be the process for Facebook ads, the outreach.
Whatever's the same every time. If you're still trying to figure it out, you don't really want to build an SOP for it.
Right.
If it's still like, or maybe like you want to build an SOP for part of it. So for example, if you haven't figured out how to actually do the right cold email script, build out an SOP for scraping the leads, setting up all the emails ready to be sent out. But then the actual script, don't build an SOP for that because don't tell them which script to use yet because you're still figuring it out. Make sense?
Yeah. I noticed that.
And
when
then I would start as early as possible, as long as you're building systems for the right things. As long as you're building systems for setting and closing appointments, like I don't want you building systems for getting client results when you don't even have a client. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I just noticed that when I start recording a video, I have to like keep taking so many cuts.
Just mess up, dude. It doesn't matter. Just be like, it does not have to be perfect. Like one of my biggest mistakes was trying to make it perfect. Like if you mess up, if you're like, oh no, actually, let's do this. Oh, actually, that's not what I meant. Even when I was live with you guys, do you remember how sometimes I was like, wait, that's not supposed to go there. And I like reorganized it. I think I moved. Do you remember how I moved this? It was here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait, no, that's not supposed to go there. You just record like that and you just fix it on the spot.
Oh, cool. You know? And then I had one last follow-up question, just what you were just talking about. What's your advice in terms of finding the sweet spot? You mentioned like 90 days, but how do you battle against the whole niche hopping and constantly switching your offer to trying new things?
I don't think you should niche hop.
Sorry, let me re-explain the question. Just because you say you want to try new things, right? So you want to make sure that you're the first to do things. And I just want to make sure that I don't use that as an excuse to ditch what I'm currently doing or something like that to just try new things and not stick with it long enough, kind of thing?
It depends. Like, it depends. Like, that's a great question. Trying new things doesn't mean trying a new business. That's not what I mean. Trying a new thing is like, okay, well, everyone is doing Instagram DMs now because of the video that Joel posted. Let me do, no, I don't know many agency owners posting content every day.
Right.
Why don't you post content with a hashtag? Like, for example, everyone started going after auto detailing after Tony did that video. What if you go after auto detailing and you say, I'm going to be the first agency to do TikTok content. And like, I just do a short form video twice a day. And I use all the auto detailing hashtags, ceramic coating, auto detailing, et cetera, et cetera. Don't you think that those people are going to see those types of posts on their feed? Of course. And then number two, there's very little competition because no one else is doing it. So like, that's what I mean by trying a new thing. It's not necessarily like switching your niche.
Right. No, I got that. That's really helpful. Thanks. I'll be looking to join your program soon, hopefully.
Awesome, man. Yeah. And I think that I'm trying to think of like how to give you a better framework for it.
Hormozy had a pretty good video on it too. It's basically like you just kind of ask yourself, does it take me closer to my goal or not? And if it doesn't, then it's probably a distraction, a silver.
I would say try one innovation every 3 months. And then that's it. That should be like
innovation, like making TikTok content, etc. Example.
That's an innovation. Like, do you know of what niche are you in?
Right now I'm helping medical spa and a massage therapist.
Okay. Do you know how many med spa agencies do you know that are doing IGDMs? 100, 200? All of them?
Yeah, a lot.
How many do you know that are posting on TikTok every day?
None.
Okay, there you go. That proves the point.
Cool. Thanks.
How many do you know that are sending direct mail?
Yeah, like none.
How many do you know that are walking in the door? I don't know. I'm just thinking different.
That's what I was gonna try next.
I'm not saying to do that. I'm just giving. I would here. If I was you guys, I would just do a fucking brain dump. This is what we would literally do. This. We'd take a whiteboard and we would write down all the crazy shit. No bad ideas. They're just throw out a lot of crazy shit, and then you'll land with a few that you like, and then test one at a time out every 90 days. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it.
That was actually really helpful. Thanks, Joel.
Yeah, just brain dump. Like, what are all my, this is what like, you guys got to learn here. I want you guys to watch this video for homework. It's so good.
I just feel like I get 20 good ideas every single day and then I just get.
No, just do one. This is one of my favorite videos of all time. I watched it a long time ago, but I just rewatched it because it's called Competition is for Losers. And it's by the billionaire that I was telling you guys about. I just dropped it in there. And I think it's smart to play in a proven business model that has already been done, but I think it's smarter to be the first to do something within that business model. This is the hardest. I also tell everyone, this is the hardest thing for me to teach. Because it's like, it hasn't existed. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's new. Like, that's why it would work more because there's less competition. So anyways, all right, last question, Jonas, and then I got to run.
Hey, Joel, how's it going, bro?
Yo.
Yeah, so I had a question about VAs and also like a curious question about like the total price. So number one, what countries you suggest I hire VAs from? I know Philippines is like a very good one. And also just out of curiosity, like how much did that total, like that whole team and system like cost?
It's a good
like
question.
per month.
Let me actually pull it up and I can answer that. Okay, so favorite country for VAs? Man, I don't have a favorite. I think that's a really good question. Do I have a favorite? I can tell you where I've had the most success. I've had the most success with VAs from the Philippines. Had the most success with VAs from the Philippines. Yeah, that's probably what I could say. Like, that's where I think I've had the most success in terms of just VAs. But I don't know if there's better or worse. That I don't think there's a better or worse. But I think personally, I've just had more success with VAs from the Philippines. I like to pay I start people at 500 a month, and then I work them up to 1,000 a month if they're good. So let's see, VAs 500 a month. Sale closer, we would pay if you're getting them appointments and you're getting them. If you have a proven offer, we pay out 10% up until 1,000. So 10% reoccurring. So for example, if they close a $2,000 deal, they would get $200. They would get paid 10% reoccurring for 5 months. This assumes that we have an offer and appointments for them. If not, we paid out more. Like if they're setting their own appointments and stuff, I'd probably pay more. And I'd probably pay them a base salary. Also, like our average retention rate was about 8 months. So like most of the time, if they closed a client, they were making $1,000 for that client. So with a commission for sales, it really depends on how consistent your offer is closing, how much social proof you have, and if you're getting them appointments. If those three things are happening, if you're getting consistent appointments, if you have social proof and you have a proven offer, you can give less commission at less base salary. If you don't have those things, more commission, more base salary. The account manager, we paid like $4K a month. Media buyer, this was a hack. I speak fluent Spanish, so we actually got media buyers from South America. They cost me like $2K a month, but they like had degrees in marketing. So like they were really, really good. Yeah, and we built out an entire media buyer team. Like that was one of our hacks. That was one of our innovations, right? We were like, okay, how can we be a little bit different? If not, I think you'll be paying like $4K a month if you're paying American.
So do I hire from like South America? Because I speak Spanish as well.
I speak Spanish as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think like sales, you need English, native English speaker. Account manager, native English speaker. Like everything else, I would hire. Like media buyer is a technical role. Like you can get an incredible media buyer that might be even better than an American one for cheaper. You could even maybe pay him 1.5K. So like your ops manager could be Hispanic. Like they're not talking to clients.
Also, for like appointment setting VAs for the clients, would I pay them per commission? So like per appointment they close, or should I give them like a little base salary as well?
I give all my VAs a base salary. The only people that are 100% commission are closers.
Thanks, Joel.
Guys,
Appreciate it.
I gotta run. Sorry, but I really gotta dip. I'm gonna be giving you guys 3 bonus videos that really break down everything we talked about in more detail. Proven agency process A to Z breaks down my entire agency process from start to finish. The SOP masterclass that teaches you how to build SOPs with a lot more detail, and the onboarding Asana and onboarding SOP. That's going to be a training video specifically for onboarding and building that SOP out. So I'm going to add it to the Google Drive folder along with this recording. That's pretty much it.